always put up my fences and held my defenses in front of me. Not knowing my heart was imprisoned till you gave me wisdom to find the key. I am ready to begin. I am open.
Just settling into this space, recognizing that there is one power, a presence, a life force that is in and through every living thing. I experienced the beauty of God in the majestic mountains on my drive this morning. And as we gathered, the smiles upon each other's faces, the hustle and bustle of the season, all connected to that love of God. And then just knowing that this power and this presence is here now in this space as we gather. And then knowing that that presence, that power that is in each and every one of us is in others where they gather, whether it be in Sweat Lodge, in mosque, at a Bronco game, wherever people are celebrating that connection of the divine essence of love itself, God is. I just know that this service is blessed, as I know that Reverend Jen is an absolute conduit of that divine love. And the musicians, as they sing their song in gratitude to the divine. And for every volunteer that gathered early throughout the week, preparing for this service. I am so grateful. And it is in this space of gratitude that I open up this time to let in everything that we need to hear. And it is so very good as we affirm in one voice. And so it is. The words of inspiration today come first from Mark Twain. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than the ones you did do. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. And Ralph Waldo Emerson. The world makes way for the man who knows where he is going. And from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. We make our own mistakes, suffer from our own foolishness, and we must also make our own return journey into righteousness. God was, is, and will remain the essence of life, truth, and purity. Let us enter this essence in belief and be freed from the unbelief and human mistakes. All goodness and every good gift cometh from the Father of light. Darkness has no father, but is an illegitimate child of superstition and unbelief, having no parentage in reality. The universe is not divided against itself. The good teacher said, a house divided against itself cannot stand.
How beautiful, thank you. This week is a week for giving and receiving. It's on the calendar, it's been there for 12 months. We run across it every year. We've kind of become conditioned. But you know, the thing that I think we have made a misstep with is we're really good at giving. We're not always so great at receiving. This week, our talk title is The Gift of a New Journey. And I started to talk about this new journey last week, and we're coming to the close of the year, and we're going to move into the new year, and we're just going to skip right over the whole idea of Christmas, and we're just going to start talking about what's going to happen in 2022. Not quite, but that's kind of where we're at. And so, if I were to come to you and say to you, I have a gift for you. It's for you and you alone. And it is a new journey for you. What would that mean to you? What would that mean to your life? What would that mean to your inner being? Because some of us we're kind of plodding along down this path, and we're like, what? Now I got to go someplace else? What are you talking about? Now I got to change gears? Now I have to change, period? We get real kind of crazy in that whole concept, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about opening up our arms, embracing the idea of something new coming forth. Because the truth is, and we've talked about this for a long time, because I know I've said it over and over again, every single day is a new beginning. Every single moment, you can create something new. And as we prepare to wind down this year and allow ourselves to let go of 2021, which that means that we don't have to talk about it anymore, and we can start looking at how we're going to create this next part of the journey, this new journey, this 2022. How often do you think about the gifts you receive from other people throughout the day as gifts? There were some very excited people on I-25 yesterday that were traveling with me to Colorado Springs. And I'm thrilled because we have a toll lane, and currently it's free. I hope I remember when it starts charging, but I drive in that lane. There's little rules, nobody's following the rules, nobody knows what they're supposed to be doing, and it was just a little crazy. Do we thank others for those types of gifts? The ones that we weren't really wanting to show up? Those ones that were a little bit unexpected? Because if we can live in that space of gratitude all the time, then we see all the gifts. A smile, for someone to just look at you and smile at you. In a place where you have the ability to reach out to someone and embrace in a hug, to feel that hug and just to feel the gift that's coming to you from that other person. I had a situation I haven't been talking about King Soopers so much, so I got to start talking about King Soopers because I know y'all miss it. I was at King Soopers the other day, and I was purchasing a stash of meat. Now, just on a side note, most of the meat that I purchase for my home goes into the belly of my gorgeous dog, Lotus. But I still buy it, because I'm thinking we're going to share it at some point in time. But anyway, I had this package, and I kind of knew the price on it, but the little label was folded over, and I couldn't get it to read the little scan thing. And I like to do the do-it-yourself so I can make people come help me. I find that's really fun. And so I called the woman over and I said, "I'm sorry, I can't see well enough to read those little tiny numbers on the scan code. Could you read it for me?" Now, the item, it was a pricey piece of meat, which Lotus is going to love. It was a really nice steak, and it was $13. And so she's over there, and she's trying to do stuff, and she can't see it either, and she's talking, and she's carrying on, and she rings it up for $3. And I said, wow, is that what that says? Because I don't think that's what that says. And she goes, "Oh, yeah, it's $3. I could see it right there." And I'm thinking, okay. And she said, "But there you go." She said, "I had to kind of do some work with it, but it took it." I'm like, Okay, well, thank you. I don't want to argue too much because she was kind of getting like, well, yeah, I can see it. You're the one who can't see. I'm like, okay, whatever. So it was a gift. It was a gift, and then I thought, okay, I just got $10. I get to do something, because, far be it for me to hold on to it, I get to do something with that $10, and I found a good cause for it. So it's just those little things that happen that are gifts to us. I had the opportunity, and thank you all, and thank you, Mickey Mock, for setting up the Grands and Kins to go to Camp Christmas last week. And I decided I wanted to go and see what this was all about. Now, I met some of these families a few months before when we supported them with their pizza party. And so I was looking forward to some, reconnection and stuff. And this woman was standing there, and Mickey had introduced us, and the lady looked at me and she said, "Are you a real minister?" And I said, well, I believe so. I said, I have a community, a spiritual community that I work with, and I speak on Sundays. I do talks. And she goes, "Oh, I need to talk to you." So she comes over, and she starts telling me what she has put into place in her home for her family, and how they have this church service in their home, this worship service every Sunday, and what time of day, and the kids come in their pajamas, and they all just gather around, and now some of the neighbors are starting to want to attend, and she really wanted me to know all about this, and I was fascinated. I love it when people tell me their story. What didn't catch with me right away till a few minutes later was she was seeking approval, I think. But that didn't matter, because what I said to her was, I said, "Oh my goodness, look at what you have created. Look at what you are doing. Look at the love you are bringing into your family. You don't have to do anything the traditional way if you choose not to. I commend you on this." And it's like she just inflated. She was just beautiful. She just looked at me, and she was just so proud and so happy and so grateful to have connected with me. And I was so grateful for the gift that she wanted to share with me of who she is and what she's doing. Those are the gifts that we are receiving every single day if we're paying attention. Debashish Murata said this: "To begin a new journey is never easy, but we have to start somewhere to reach the destination." Too often, I think we are forced, or we believe we are forced, to change and create something new. We believe we're being prodded into it. We believe we're being coerced into it. We believe somebody's pulling us along, or dragging us along, or pushing us along. And the truth is, we're at choice all the time. You cannot say that another person made you do this and therefore you have no control, because that's not the truth. Because at some moment in time you bought into whatever it was and you chose to take that step. So taking that step for a new destination, to begin a new journey, is something that we all have an option to choose into. And wouldn't it be great if we all chose into it with the gusto and the love and the vigor and the joy and the passion that we do with the things we really, 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 really love? And what can we create in that process? So think about it for just a moment. Where you are in your life. What are you engaging in? What does your life look like? What does it feel like? And I want you to take this wonderful component out of the equation of what you're thinking about that has to do with what someone has told you is your physical age. Because the part of you that is you is eternal. It has not aged, and it will not age. So you can't throw the age card at me for any of it. Because the being that we are, that spiritual context of who we are and how we are, that is timeless. That is ageless. So just think about that for a minute, and think about, what would you like to let go of before you release this year, and what do you want to start moving forward into with the new journey? There could be something in your life that needs to be revitalized. There could be something that you once did or participated, let's skip so I can get the right word out there, participated in, and you kind of stopped for whatever reason. It could be any number of things. It's for you to choose. When you take those moments to stop and breathe and release the hustly-bustly stuff, consider you. Consider your life. Consider your path and your journey. I have been given a gift of a new journey for 2022. And it's not going to start immediately on January 1st. It's going to be a little bit later into the month. But for those of you who are not aware, that in January, on the 18th, I will be traveling to California to complete my ordination panels. So when I step into the new year and I begin doing this work in being part of your community and supporting you and loving you and guiding you and all the wonderful things that I do and I'm here and present for, I will be doing this as an ordained minister. And for me, that's significant. And so I want you to consider that, because every little thing in your life, every little thing that changes, every little alteration, every little context shifts us somehow and creates a different outcome. Dr. Ernest Holmes reminds us of this. Nature will not let us stay in any one place for too long, especially if you were out in the wind the other day. She will let us stay just long enough to gather the experience necessary to the unfolding and advancement of the soul. Nature is constantly changing. This is a lesson for us. No one told you to come here to planet Earth, choose to be this, move into this house, move into this community, and just stay. It's constantly moving, evolving, changing, shifting, constantly. And just as nature shifts and changes, so are we guided to do that. We have the power within us to change our viewpoint at any moment in time. Any moment in time. And it is through our active practice of affirmative prayer that we can move our consciousness to accept whatever is the new perspective. If you're stuck and you're grumbly and you don't like what's going on, you can literally pray about that and shift your thinking. That's how powerful prayer is, and that's what it's for. It is for us to speak the word that helps adjust our mindset and our belief system. We're not telling God anything. Spirit's already all-knowing. We're shifting our thinking and our mindset. I find it unfortunate that I wasn't aware of this and these teachings earlier in my life. I actually think that I was at some level, because some of the things I believed in and some of the ways I performed and the ways I acted and the things I did were evidence that there was something more going on in my world than what I had literally been taught about. But when I came into this teaching and I met children and young people who had kind of grown up through the philosophy of science of mind, I was like, oh my gosh, what would that be like? Where would I be now? Well, it doesn't really matter, because here's where I'm at. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I have a quote from Yoda. Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose. Man, that's a tough one. That's a steep one. What are you holding on to? What are those things in your world that you're just so focused on and you can't let go and you can't release? if we can train ourselves to let go of the things that we fear to lose, the freedom that opens up within us, the pathways that open up before us are phenomenal. Let's take a moment and think about that. Because what it gives us is a new perspective. When we decide to no longer be held down by our own past and our own limiting beliefs, the old paradigms, we create space for new ideas. Somebody shows up in your world with an idea, a thought, a mindset, a lifestyle that you never considered in a million years, and you're thinking, oh, wow, I never thought about that. But first, we have to be willing to let go and release ourselves from that attachment, if you will. We speak the 5 steps of treatment in our spiritual mind treatment. The final step is letting go. Letting go. How important that is to each and every one of us. I had an opportunity Thursday evening to meet with a number of the ministers from the Colorado area. And Robert Anderson, many of you know Robert Anderson, he's a musician, was with us. And he rewrote the song, Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow. It's still a Christmas song, but it's all metaphysical, and it's let it go, let it go, let it go. And it was just beautiful. I have to get the words from him. I just thought it was priceless to sit there in that Christmas context and keep thinking about, even though this is going on, and even though there's this hustle bustle, and even though somebody's gift didn't arrive on time because Amazon had all kinds of challenges, whatever, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. You got a couple of days to prepare for that magical day that you don't have to stress and you don't have to have brain damage going on. And then you can wake up on that beautiful day we call Christmas and just celebrate the joy of the season of light. Memory is not remembering our past, but creating new and better past. The memories that you have, okay, get ready, I'm gonna share something really profound. The memories that we have, I'll say we, the memories that we have of what happened are not necessarily the truth. What he did, she did, they did, said, whatever, is not the truth. Everything we do, everything we are a part of, comes through this amazing, magical filter system that we've created for ourselves, and it's our perception. And then what we do is we grab a hold of that and say, well, I know that's what happened, and I know that's what they did, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And here's what I'm telling you. Take this thought and shift it. We can not only rewrite a story for ourselves today, we can not only create a whole new journey and adventure for ourselves coming forward, but we can rewrite the past that's tripping us up. How much of your past has to do with what someone told you about you? And again, what you remember about that conversation is not necessarily the facts of what took place. So we have such a great opportunity right now to look at this and to make this shift and to change this, to play with this idea. Write a new story. That story that hurts so deeply, go back and rewrite it. Just for fun. Change all the players. Make the outcome different. See how that feels. Because what we're doing is we are creating that space, that platform for us to show up in all of our greatness, in all of our beauty, in all of the wonder of who we are. And the negativity and the broken stuff and the hurt and the pain and the criticism doesn't belong here. It doesn't belong here at all. This week I want you to consider, if you are going to sit down and write a book about yourself, and you were the primary character, and you wanted that primary character to just shine, what would you say? What are the attributes you would bring forth in the book? What are the stories you would share about the past of this character in this book? What is the path you would put this character on to create the story that you want and the outcome that you want? What a great idea. We should all write a book about ourselves for the new year. I think that's a cool idea. Dr. Ernest Holmes, said this: all laws are universal and may become individualized. The thing that stands between you and the greater good is a thing of thought and nothing else. It is not reality that you must change. It is your mental reaction to it. That's another way for saying it's all in your head. And I don't say this to criticize any of you. I say it because I need to hear this. Because I'm going off on a tangent every now and then I stop and go, well, wait a second, is this even real? Did I just perceive this? Did I just decide this is, did I just assume, oh, that's a wonderful word. Did I just assume that this is what's going on and what's transpired? How often have you reacted to something because you thought someone did something and found out later they didn't do it, or it didn't unfold the way you thought? Let's think about that, because our thoughts are creating our life. Our thoughts that we have with us today, we've built these up over time, and now we can look at them again and decide, which ones do we want to take into a new year? Which ones do we want to take down that path to that new journey? Which ones serve and which ones do not? Emma Curtis Hopkins said, the world will persist in exhibiting before you, the world will persist in exhibiting before you what you persist in affirming the world is. We've heard this so many times. If you think the world is a good place, you'll have that experience. If you think the world is a mean place, you'll have that experience. If you think people are basically good, you'll have that experience. If you think people can be trusted, you will have that experience. The people aren't changing. The things out there aren't changing. It's all happening in here. It's all happening in here. We know when we have done our healing work because we are no longer triggered. We no longer jump into reaction when someone says something that we wish would have been spoken a different way. Those things no longer trigger us. And how we show up in life is a big part of it. I know that I have grown spiritually, exponentially. I have deepened in my belief and in my faith. And I thought I had a boatload of faith before. And I look at my life now, and it's just, I'm in awe of the things that are coming forth for me and the way I'm responding and how differently it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. This coming year, we have an opportunity to integrate all that we are and become more. Not only each one of us individually, but us as a New Dawn community. This concert in January is going to support us in being heard of and known. I don't have all the details yet. I'll get those this week. All I knew was when he said, when Reverend Robert Brzezinski walked up to me and said, hey, how about we bring New Thought Media Radio in and we do a live broadcast? And I was just like in tears and shrieking. And it was like, didn't matter to me what any of the rest of it meant. That was exciting. And our name and our brand will be out there. People will know we're here. And then we get to find that space where we're going to meet on a regular basis in a beautiful address in the Aurora community. And that's going to show up when we are ready. We're not waiting on God. When we are ready, when the New Dawn community is ready to take that step and to move forward into that next space, it will show up for us. Because that's how it works. How beautiful is that? I also encourage you to not only develop that new perspective, but to engage a beginner's mind. Remember when you first came into Science of Mind? Or remember when you stepped into a classroom and you started to learn, maybe not something brand new, but a different spin on something, and you got excited, and you just dove right into it, and you couldn't get enough of it, and you couldn't stop picking up books, and you couldn't stop reading, you couldn't stop asking questions. I want us to move into 2022 with a beginner's mind. We're not in that place and that says, that's old hat, we've done that before, we don't need to do that again. We're all looking at new, what can we do, what's brand new? How can we grow? Who can we talk to? What are the things we need to bring forth? What are the programs that need to be available for people in the community to come forth and be a part of our family? I find that so incredibly exciting. You see, there's a story that is going to be told many, many, many times this week about years and years and years ago, when the people had fallen into a time of kind of darkness, and they were lost, and they were unhappy, and they needed some light to show up to help guide them. And what came forth was a way shower. Jesus, the master teacher, came into human form to teach and speak and to demonstrate a lifestyle, not just for him, but for everyone. This week, the majority of the world celebrates a significant date in time that symbolizes his birth, and the gifts that came forth when he showed up, and how that touched the people in their hearts and their lives. What a beautiful concept. What a beautiful idea that this time of celebration is ours to enjoy just before we take that step into 2022. And perhaps there are other lights within our community and outside our community that are going to show up and guide us. Perhaps there are others who are way showers, who are going to walk in one day and go, well, hey, wait a second, I got an idea. How about if we do this? And we're all going to go, oh my gosh, yes. That's what I'm talking about. That openness, that idea to embrace, to live, to be guided by what shows up. Because I don't know about you, but anytime I pray for any kind of guidance, within a nanosecond, someone shows up in my world that has all of the energy and the insight for exactly what I'm looking for. I stopped saying, wow, that was crazy, and started saying, well, thank you, God, in this, because this is amazing. That's how it works. That's exactly how it works. So I encourage you also this week to just embrace this idea. And rest, because we might get really busy in 2022. You got 2 weeks. You can rest up. I keep telling you, pause. I'd like to close with this quote. You probably can't read it because it's very wordy, but I loved it. This is from Rachel Carson, and it says, a child's world is fresh and new and beautiful, full of wonder and excitement. It is our misfortune that for most of us, that clear-eyed vision, that true instinct for what is beautiful and awe-inspiring is dimmed and even lost before we reach adulthood. If I had influence with the good fairy who's supposed to preside over all children, I should ask that her gift to each child in the world be a sense of wonder, so indestructible that it would last throughout life. You want to get jazzed up a little bit? You want to tap into that spark? Talk to children. Michael showed up today just for that very purpose. Thank you, Michael. He'll be happy to chat with any one of you today. It is enlightening to hear about this beautiful perspective on how life works. I had such a great time at Camp Christmas. I didn't talk to very many adults, but I talked to a ton of kids. And it was just so amazing to look at the joy on their faces and listen to them telling me about what Santa Claus is or what this gadget I'm looking at because I don't understand it. What does it mean? Because they had an answer for everything. It was wonderful. It was amazing. And someone somewhere told you to knock that off, and I'm telling you, bring it back. I want you to dive back in to that beautiful energy, to be in that place of wonder and excitement, because it gets to be here for each of us, So let us encourage a new perspective. Let us encourage a beginner's mind. And let us integrate all of this and all that we know, and let go of the things that just absolutely keep tripping us up, and focus only on the light, the goal, the direction that we choose to move. And let us support one another as we step forward. Practitioners, would you please stand as we pray? And so as we bring this service to a close this afternoon, we do so knowing that the very essence and energy, the joy that is God, is here now. It's perfect, it's beautiful, it's brilliant. And what I know for each and every one of us is that every now and then we just need to pause. We just need to take a moment. We just need to breathe in the breath of God, breathe out the breath of God, and just allow ourselves to feel grounded and centered and clear-eyed, anticipating what's coming, knowing that good and only good is ours. What a beautiful gift for each and every one of us this year, this Christmas. And so I know that as we move through this week that we are gifted many things from others, and we are giving and return, and let us cherish those moments and recognize them for what they are, because they lift us. They lift us in our very vibration into that place where we can do more, be more, have more. It's beautiful and it's good. And what I know right here and right now is that there are many holidays taking place. There are many celebrations of light taking place right here, right now, and that all people, all walks of life, all faiths, all beliefs are blessed by God as they come together, as they celebrate, as they worship, as they connect. It is good. It is beautiful, and by God, it is already done in the mind of God. I send blessings out around the planet for all people everywhere. May all feel the blessing. May all feel the love. May all know the goodness that is ours to choose. And so I release this. I release this unto the law of mind, knowing that the power and the presence of Spirit is moving forward in all of this. And I know that it is holding the community of New Dawn as we move forward as well. And that our message goes out around the land, lifting the hearts of the people who seek it. It's perfect, it's good, it's blessed. And so we just simply affirm these words by saying together, and so it is.
I've always put up my fences and held my defenses in front of me. Not knowing my heart was imprisoned till you gave me wisdom to find the key. I am ready to begin. I am open.
Hello, I'm Reverend Jen Wild, Senior Minister for New Dawn Center for Spiritual Living. New Dawn Center is a global community, and we welcome all people, all paths, all ways of thinking, all philosophies. So know that you are welcome here, and thank you for joining our online community.